God, grab a mic. And not tradition tonight, we're going to flow in freedom to someone through social media, and someone is live auditorium we set free on tonight. So grab a mic and rock it like you did the improv.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Pastor. First, giving honor to God and Pastor Deckard and everyone here. I am the truth. And like you said, I'm saying I'm real, raw, and uncut. And I believe in just living your truth and giving your truth. And it took me a while to get here, but I'm here.
Have your way, God. Amen. Have your way, God. Have your way.
I'm going to give you 2 tastes, but you'll see how they coincide.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah. A few stolen moments is all that we share.
Right.
You've got your family, and they need you there. Though I try to resist being last on your list, see no other man's gonna do, so I'm saving all my love for you.
Come on now.
She loves him, and he loves her too. But he also loves she, and what she loves he, and 1 have become 2, have become 3, have become 4. And what's love anyways? See, it's nothing more or less than people being selfish, pretending to be. Meet me in room 203. I'll fulfill all of your fantasies. Tainted images of purity, because you believe that what you create in those late night meetings actually hold meaning, but you just living out make-believe behind hotel doors.
Come on!
Whores. Whores open their legs and dogs feast and get fed to their full, but if you were pulled from that lustful moment, does your chemistry still exist?
Jesus!
Is your absence truly missed, or are you just a fetish, a fix, a hit, a bad habit that can't be broken, but you love him?
My God.
And he loves you too. But he also loves she, and what she loves he, and 1 have become 2, have become 3, have become 4. And what happens to love once you walk out that door? Y'all be putting it on the back burner to the next time.
Oh God.
Living lies. Or did he just lies he lived in between your thighs? Or did he mean I love you, or I love what you provide, instead of loving the context of your character? And the truth is, it doesn't even really matter, because if you do it just right,
Come on now.
he just might stay the night. And if your goods are really that good, then it just might change your life and make him change his mind, you silly rabbit. Don't you know that tricks are for kings? And there you go doing the same things again, expecting a different outcome, but after he lets go, he wipes you off of him while you have him in you, fermented, demented images in your head of what you shared, walking around with this dude everywhere while he left you in room 203.
Come on, soul time! Soul time!
1 have become 2, have become 3, have become 4, and you ask yourself, what are we even doing this for? Because you're smarter. You're so much smarter than what you portray, yet you continue to lay in room 203 because you love them. So I'm saving all my love. Yes, I'm saving all my love, baby. Yes, I'm saving all my love for you. Y'all good?
Yeah.
So this one piece, this next piece is near and dear to my heart, and I'm gonna exit the stage. How can I say thanks for the things he has done for me? Things so undeserved, yet he gives to prove his love for me. The voices of 1,000 angels could not express my gratitude. All that I am or ever hope to be, I owe it all to thee.
Yes.
Girl, spit your truth. Tell them how you was in your youth.
Wow.
Tell them how dudes lived in between your thighs and you prided yourself in lies that were buried within your bosom. Tell them how you knew better. You knew better, but you still chose to do bad. You were a child sleeping with a married man, but don't you judge me. See, karma does exist. That came back on me. God don't bless ugly, so girl, spit your truth. Tell them how you have a heart that wants to love and be loved back in return, that everything you've ever done in life, whether it was good or bad, was a lesson to be learned. Girl, spit your truth. Tell them how when you want to go right, wrong always seems to be on your path. Tell them about the anger issues, the depression, the rage, the wrath that lies dormant within your spirit, how you prayed about it, cried about it, but it just seems to be buried within you. Girl, spit your truth. Tell him how you lay awake at night in bed wishing that he would make it all go away, wanting to carve out your ugly and be clean. Tired of living with the failed promises and broken dreams. Girl, spit your truth. Come on now. See, because when you spit, I feel. I heal. I heard your pain as you sang those lyrics. Mo better blues, better yet hidden, but she chooses to put her heart on display for you, and it's just the way that she spits her truth. So, girl, you better spit. Spit about a child who was once abused. Spit about being scarred for life, barren and bruised. Spit about all the irresponsible choices you made so some other young naive woman or girl don't follow you. Spit on how you forgive but can't forget. Spit about the life you thought you lived with, the disgust in the life you got to get. Girl, you better spit. Spit because someone is watching. Spit because someone needs teaching. Spit because someone needs healing. And when you spit, I want you to spit like you ain't got nothing left. I want you to spit like it's your very last breath. And when you spit, if you reach just one, and at the end of your life, he can look at you and say, child, well done. Well, at least all of this would be worth it. Realizing, baby, that ain't nobody perfect. So I guess I'm just gonna keep spitting. To God be the glory. To God be the glory. To God be the glory for the things he has done. I'm the truth. Thank you.
Yeah, come on, give it up, give it up. Come on, give it up. Listen, promise you tonight, no band-aids. Women and men have been rushed to the emergency room. We've been playing church too long. We've been hiding behind the scars and the secrets too long. And God is releasing truth to set the captives free. So the truth, I thank you for spitting your truth.
Pastor.
And God's going to use you in his real time.
Thank you.
People are sick and tired of playing church.
Thank you.
And God going to send vessels like yourself to speak the truth, to set a generation of wounded, hurting, and locked up women, to give them the courage to come from room 222 and be set free.
Thank you.
That's an anointing on your life.
Thank you.
That's bigger than the club. That's bigger than your next venue. You will end up in the kingdom declaring the truth for God's purpose.
Thank you.
And God didn't coincidentally bump us into each other. But I'm praying for your journey. I'm praying that your struggle will become your testimony. And your test, God will give you a team, and your testimony will set the captives free. Go in your truth, my sister, and be free.
Thank you, Pastor.
Come on. The objective tonight is to bring before you reality. To take you out your denial so you can be set free. And I'm getting ready to bring to the stage, and those who know me know I rarely ever use the word friend. But God sent me a friend, and we can sit on the phone and we can talk about real life stuff. And I'll look up and the clock has begun to whine and whine and whine, because our stories are so similar. It's like God created a man and a woman and gave us the same story, but it's in different positions. I want to bring to the stage my friend, Jolanda Jones.
Amen. Amen.
Sister, have a seat. I call her my shero. She's a warrior. You'll see why. And once you start reading it, you won't be able to put it down, I promise you. Now we're gonna just be at home, just like we do on the phone. We're gonna start talking, but we only got an hour this time. Now, y'all, believe it or not, one day we started talking, and I looked up, and it was 3 hours later. I said, I've never in my life been on the phone for 3 hours with anybody. And it was like we had been on the phone for 5 minutes. And to be honest, we both was crying, we both was literally, I was in my car and I don't know where she was, I was literally mesmerized about how God had brought her such a mighty long ways and how I can relate to every sentence that she was spitting out. Every word she said, I can relate to because she was reading my own story. So tonight we're going to go through this book, and I got to clean up because of the venue we in. It's owning my stuff. But my 10-year-old granddaughter said, Papa, you know what that word mean? I said, well, baby, it means suffering, hardship, internalizing trauma. She said, you always changing stuff around. Because she heard me the first time say no more BS in church, which means bloodshed. But sometimes I use a drastic approach to people attention. I said, no more BS. Everybody looked like bloodshed. So when I saw owning my SHIT, I knew that suffering, hardship, internalizing trauma. But for the night's sake, we'll say owning my stuff, owning my boo-boo, whatever we want to call it. But we're not going to go too far off the pathway, though, because we're going to keep it real. So I want to just start out. First of all, thank you so much for being here. And she has to be in a whole, almost in Mexico in the morning. And she said, I'm going to rearrange my flight to the latest flight out of Houston to be with my friend. So we're going to just jump right into this. If you don't have this book, I promise you, get this book. I've read it twice already. I've only had it in 10 days. I read it twice already. Once you pick it up and start reading it, it's going to captivate you. We're going to start out in the beginning. And I love the fact, the way we're going to start out, because I want to start from the now. A month or so ago, she invited me to the Texas Hall of Fame. She was being inducted to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Yes. Come on, put it up there. The Texas Sports Hall of Fame. I don't need to read the pages. If I ever got in trouble, listen to what I'm saying. If I ever got in trouble and they locked me up, I wouldn't call my wife, I wouldn't call my grandmother, I wouldn't call my daddy, I'd call her and get me out of the trouble. I didn't call my family because she has a record of fighting for the underdog, and the underdog comes home. So she's the most powerful criminal attorney in the city of Houston. Fights on the Houston Independent School Board District Trustee, former Houston City Council member, always fighting for the underdog. When you watch the lawyer show on TV, she's the one on TV, the lawyer that's getting everybody's face, checking them, getting them straight. She is a woman that will fight for the underdog and will fight for the oppressed and depressed, regardless of your nationality, regardless of your background. She's a fighter for the people. But she's been through some stuff. And that's what I love about sharing the ending point, or the now point, because it's not over yet. She still has a lot more to do. But her success story is against the odds. So let's just jump right into this. When you were a child, your first traumatic experience took place with your father. Let me go to my book. What page is that on? It's chapter 1, Daddy Goes Bang, but what page? Page 29. Let's jump right in, and we're going to just go back and forth. Tell us about this chapter 1, Daddy Go Bang.
So, somebody told me that the first sentence of chapter 1 got them, so I'll just read the first sentence and then I'll sort of spin off from there. Chapter 1, Daddy Go Bang. After my dad killed himself with me in the room with him, I used to run around saying, Daddy Go Bang. So I always knew my dad died. It was not something, at some point God took the memory of that traumatic event from me, which I'm thankful for. But I was the only person I knew whose father killed himself. And I was the butt of bullying. I was told I was crazy like my daddy. I was told to go be with my daddy whenever people wanted to hurt my feelings. So I used to have nightmares. To this day, I don't sleep through the night because I had the same recurring dream, which was that my dad and I were running from somebody trying to kill us or capture us. They'd always catch my dad and kill him, and then they'd always be about to catch me, where they would have caught me and killed me, and I would just wake up in a cold sweat. So, which is one reason why I'm not afraid of anything, because there's not really anything you can do to me that's worse than that dream, and that's worse than my life. So I tend to just keep going.
Wow. How old were you when your dad committed suicide?
I was a year. My dad shot himself on December 6, 1966. I was a very smart kid. I was already talking. And like I said, after my dad killed himself, I went around saying, "Daddy, go bang." I didn't understand really what that meant at a year, but as you get older and you become aware of things, and when people use it as a weapon against you, then you certainly learn that it's bad. And then you see people with fathers, and then you wish you had a father, and then you wonder why your dad didn't love you enough to not leave you. And then when you and your mom are really struggling, because when she sees you, she sees him, and she's very angry at him, and I'm the only one left from him, and so she takes out her anger at him against me. It was just very traumatic. And I'm thankful that I saw fit to go talk to a psychologist, because I believe it's important to have strong mental health.
Yes.
So yes, I used my insurance when I got it to go talk to somebody to help me figure out how to deal with the abandonment issues that I had with my dad and the promiscuity, because you just want a man to love you and all he does is say, "I love you," and then you think that's what love is because you don't have a dad to teach you what love really is and how it should look like and how you should respect yourself. So even though it happened when I was very young, it manifested itself throughout my life.
And tonight we're going to unpack all of this. And I promise you, your story, even though it's personal, many can feel your struggle, because many have hidden behind your story without the boldness of saying, "That's my story." So what God is doing, He's allowing your story to give others the freedom to share theirs, to come out of the closet, the darkness. There are many people walking around, even in the church world, with daily suicidal thoughts because they can't handle their stuff. And the stuff is getting so heavy and so stinky, it's choking the life out of them. But you're going to bring a freshness that's going to allow them to breathe again. If you will, let's jump. And throughout this interview, if you have any questions, write them down, send them up. And we're going to answer your questions. If you're on social media and you're watching live and you have a question, we want to help you tonight. We want to make sure that we're setting the captives free. But if you can go to page 22, and like I got notes all through my book. If you go to page 22 and start "unbeknownst to me," and just read those last two paragraphs. I want them to just hear from your words, from your mouth. Begin with "unbeknownst to many."
Unbeknownst to many, I've traveled some very dark and lonely roads that cause insurmountable stuff pile-ups throughout my life. During those times, I didn't quite understand what was going on or how to verbalize it, but today I understand that I was suffering hardships while internalizing trauma. I encountered so much stuff that had I not actually lived through it, I would have never believed that much heartbreak and devastation could befall one person. It didn't make sense and it wasn't fair.
Just 1 second. If we're honest, when Jesus was on the cross, He cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" The reality of it is, most of us had those moments where it felt like the burdens of our stuff was so unfair, so unbearable. But yet, God has placed a vessel before us, just telling us brick by brick, layer by layer, we can remove the boo-boo and live again. Keep reading, please.
Today, I am prepared to unapologetically expose the demons and secrets that attempted to take my life, thwart my purpose, and break my confidence. To encourage those who have experienced or are currently experiencing overwhelming stuff that they can't seem to overcome. Let me say, I get it. I've walked in many of your shoes. For those who believe I'm too graphic and should keep my secrets to myself, that it's nobody's business but my own, I will not apologize, nor will I remain silent. This is my truth. Perhaps life hasn't traumatized you as it has me and others, but our struggles are real, and the secrecy of them is what keeps us stuck. Our stuff must be identified and dealt with honestly.
We can no longer live stuck. Because when you're stuck, you can't go forward nor backwards. And and fatigue of being stuck will wear you out and suck the life out of you. So as we go through this journey on tonight, my prayer is you will become unstuck and your truths will set you free. And I promise she's not sharing the dark secrets of her life to be famous. She's already famous. She's already accomplished. She's already succeeded the mountain and climbed the mountain, and now she just climbs mountains just for the sake of climbing mountains. God gave her an assignment. God gave her an assignment to help others overcome their stuff. So tonight I'm happy that we have a real warrior that's sharing realness to help all of us. And let me say this also, this is just not a woman's story.
Amen.
This book is written by a woman, but this is a human story.
Amen.
Because I promise you, many of her struggles, I can personally relate to. I pray tonight that I don't break out with an emotional outburst, because as she shares her life, I see my life all through her pages. Dealing with depression, suicidal thoughts, dealing with the struggle of being successful to overcome my insecurity. But tonight we're going to be set free. Let's jump. We're going to jump around. Let's jump from Daddy Go Bang. I mean, I still don't know how at 1, 2 years old you was able to, other kids watching cartoons, Mickey Mouse, and you're watching your daddy kill himself. I thought that was going to be the worst part of the book until I got to chapter 2. And I have a lot of conversations with my 10-year-old granddaughter, and I was sharing her chapter 2. And I said, if anybody ever touch you, Papa won't need a judge or a jury, just a lawyer. I said, why are you going to need a lawyer? Because when I get through with him, I'm going to need somebody to defend me in court. So let's jump straight to chapter 2. You need to get this book, I promise you need to get this book. And if paying for the book is a problem, I'll buy the book for you, put it back later. I want everybody to get this book. Chapter 2. Now this word's in the Bible, so I'm not sure I can say it, it's in the Bible. Chapter 2. That bastard, I never liked him anyway. Break that down.
That actually is what my grandmother said when I outcried. So my uncle started molesting me. Actually, molesting is a really nice word for what he did. He brutalized me, he raped me, he did horrible things to me. And when I finally had the courage to tell somebody, I was 21. And he started when I was 3, and he was 6'7". And
slow down. So you're 3.
yeah,
A 6'7"
athlete.
found you attractive at 3.
I guess he did. I mean, he did what he did.
You're sick.
Absolutely. But when I was 21, I outcried to my grandmother, my mother's mother. And this is what she said. She said, "That bastard, I never liked him anyway." So I just thought that was a really appropriate title for it, because that's what she said. And then for her, a lot of dots got connected. But the reason I shared this story, well, actually the reason I shared the entire book, one is as I fly around the country and I speak, people tell me that I have an inspiring life. But people see me now, they see me on TV, they see that I'm not afraid of anybody, and that I stand in a gap for the least, the last, and lost. And I just need for people to understand that I didn't start off like this, that I made a lot of missteps that I had to learn from. The truth was here earlier, and she talked about how you have to spit your truth and everything you can learn from. So I think it's really interesting that you had us both here tonight, because for the most part, we both were saying the exact same thing. But I want for you to know that really bad things can happen to you either because you were born into them or because you make bad decisions and put yourself in it. But that if you use it as a teachable moment, you can come out stronger than ever. And so I also had a lot of problems sexually because of what he did to me, the brutalization of me. And people want us to be ashamed of those things, and I'm just not gonna have that shame anymore. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna put the stink on who it needs to be, on him. By the grace of God, he's dead. And I have a funny little story about that. When I finally told my mother about what happened, she apologized that she didn't protect me because he babysat me. She thought he was helping her and he was molesting me or raping me. But when he died, he's the husband of my aunt. And when he died, my mother said, you know, Jolanda, my sister wants for me to go with her to the funeral because he lived in another state, or lives in another state. He's from another state. And she says, but I don't want to do something that's going to hurt you. And I said, okay. She says, so if you don't want me to go, I won't go. And I was like, nah, I need you to go and just confirm for me that he is in fact dead in a casket. And so she let me know he was really dead, and I was incredibly thankful for that. So that was some healing, because he was exactly where he needed to be, in the ground.
So you're able to smile and laugh in spite of it all. So for those who question the church setting for this conversation, if you don't see God in that, your spirituality must be blind. God is all over you, in you, and through you. There's no way you can still be smiling and succeeding without the presence and power of God.
Well, that actually is one of the things that helped me get through things. My grandmother, I was raised Catholic, and my grandmother always said, sweetheart, God will never give you more than you can handle. And so whenever things got really, really difficult, and she also said, sweetheart, God does not make mistakes. So if you believe that, then if it happens, it's supposed to be, and you can't. I don't believe God is a bad God, so I don't think he did it to me or allowed things to happen to me because he wanted to punish me or something. I actually think he allowed me to experience these things, survive and thrive from these things, so that I could be a vessel to let people know that really bad things can happen to you and you can come out more powerful than ever.
And I appreciate you allowing God to, I don't want to use the word use you, but the reality of it is, God chose you. And
I like that.
There's a story in the Bible. The devil was walking around, see who he's going to mess with, and God said, consider my servant Job. And for what that means is God saw the inside of Job that he was strong to handle the attack. So when you were in your mother's womb, God gave you a muscle, a faith muscle, that could survive everything that will come your way. He already knew what was going to happen, so he gave you what you needed to be a vessel, a strong vessel. It's like on the track, a basketball court. As an escape mechanism, you went to sports, but sports became an outlet for success. God put that inside of you before you were even born. And everything you went through, God allowed you to go through it so others can see that if she can come through it, then you too can come through it. So again, I appreciate you allowing God to use you as a vessel for this generation.
Words. Thank you.
I'm proud of you. Oh, I love you. Okay, can you piggyback on that?
Yeah, it was really interesting. So I started breaking records in 1979. I was in 7th grade. I started breaking records. I was beating high school times and some college times, and so everybody like wanted me on their sport teams. Then I made straight A's. They say I got punished in the 5th grade when I made my first B. I couldn't go outside and play for the whole summer, which was horrible because I was a tomboy and I loved to go outside and play. And I would get beat for making 97 A's instead of 100 A's, because my mother always told me, you're a 100 child, not a 97 child. And all my friends were sort of jealous of me, my teammates, because their parents would be like, well, why can't you be like Joe? Other people, they couldn't balance sports and grades, and whenever they'd say, oh, it's too hard, their parents would be like, well, Joe can do it. So then my teammates were sort of hating on me because their parents loved me and everybody loved me. Everybody wanted me to be their kid. But my mom never told me she loved me. So it's just really interesting. I used to cry every day because I just wanted my mother to tell me that she loved me. And one day my grandma, I was probably 25, I literally cried every day. I was on the news all the time. Like Pastor Deckard said, I was an All-American in basketball. I remember one time I scored 52 points in a game. You would think I would be 54, my bad. I forgot to add 2 points. But my point is, I'm on TV, people wanted me on TV. I was in the newspaper at least twice a week because we had at least 2 games a week. I would win MVP at every tournament. I'm the only person, well, for the longest time, I was the only person in Texas to win the state team championship as an individual. I broke the Texas state record in the high jump. I won the high jump. I jumped 6'1.5". I won the 800 meters. I won the 400 meters. I got second in the long jumping. All these people were talking about all these really great things I was doing. I won the Hertz #1 award. Interestingly, O.J. Simpson presented me with the award because he used to be the representative for Hertz. And they flew me to New York. I was the best athlete in Texas. And so my outward appearances...
If you're a little modest, you were the most outstanding athlete in America. Male or female.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. But my point is, I had a lot of success. But there was only one thing I wanted. I just wanted my mother to tell me she loved me and she was proud of me. So there are a lot of people who are doing really tremendous things, and you think they're okay, but they're really not. I was just trying to do something. I didn't know what it needed to be, but I was just trying to do something where it would make my mom like proud of me and stuff. But when I was 25, my grandmother told me, sweetheart, are you gonna cry every day? If your mom doesn't tell you she loves you, what if she never tells you she loves you? Are you gonna cry every day for the rest of your life? Or are you gonna give one person that much control over you? You have got to figure out how to tell yourself you love you. And so I learned how to tell myself I love me. And so at the end of the day, I really think that you have to love yourself because other people may not love you. You've got to know that God doesn't make mistakes and you're exactly who God wants for you to be. And that's got to be okay. So I just learned, so I learned how not to need that. And it's interesting, my mother and I, so at one point I used to hate my mom because I was so angry at her. But I don't hate my mom. You mess with my mama, I mess with you. But my mother and I do not have an incredibly close emotional relationship because I learned how not to need that. And for my own emotional well-being. So it's really important that you know you're loved and that you believe, that you're loved. Because I know that you can make really bad decisions, all because you're searching for love in all the wrong places. It sounds so cliche-ish, but it's so true.
It's so real. I mean, this hour has just sped by. I know you got a plane to catch, but we got to jump to page 171, chapter 11. Flip the script on your stuff. And that's what we'll kind of wrap this up at, chapter 11. I mean, you got to get this book. I promise you, this book will set you free. How did you flip the script? How did you, dad commit suicide in front of you? 6'7" uncle rapes you at 3, 4, 5 years old. Never hear the words, I love you from your mother. Through the book, you share some discrimination you experience and some other hardships. You get married to an athlete that you're more gifted than. His jealousy caused him to physically abuse you and take you through all kind of hardships. You were a prime candidate to commit suicide. Runs through your family. You've been through enough boo-boo that people could have justified. Enough was enough. Yet we get to chapter 11. Flip the script on your stuff. Can you close by just walking us through some of the footprints of chapter 11? Because I believe how chapter 11 ends, it's like a new book that God can give someone to say to press on, you can make it. This old church song says, in spite of all I've been through, I still got joy. I think that's what chapter 11 does. It's that in spite of all I've been through, I still got joy chapter. Can you elaborate on chapter 11? Flip the script.
So what I'll do, I was trying to be succinct. So I'm looking at 173, the top, the first paragraph, where I was talking about with my mom, but her simple questions led me to the most profound epiphany regarding how to get over my greatest obstacle. It totally changed my life. She taught me that self-love is essential in sustaining you when others hate on you. Apart from that, she consistently confirmed her love for me, lest I forgot that I always had her in my corner. She always said, I'm so glad God gave you to me. She reminded me, that's my grandmother, by the way. She reminded me that I was a gift from God whenever people treated or thought of me as trash, including myself. If I had the opportunity to speak to all the little Jolandas out there, I would assure them that God doesn't make mistakes, which is another golden nugget I learned from my grandmother. She taught me that if you need help, you must learn to ask for it. It's not a show of weakness. It can very well be a strength. How will people know what you're going through if you don't share and ask for the help you need? And while you may believe that your blood family should come to the rescue, maybe they won't. You should be receptive to help that may come or be available from the family you create. Pay attention to who's around you and who really loves you and ask them for help. I can honestly say that God placed great people in my life at all the right times. I was blessed to find others for all things physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, and financial needs that I couldn't get from my mom. But for them, especially my grandmother and my son, I wouldn't be here today.
Support system is important. Opening up is important. You are important. So I want to thank you for sharing your truth. And again, I'm not just pushing a book. I promise you this book is more than just a book. It's more than just a piece of literary work. This is actually a treasure for those who are stuck in the mud, in the boo-boo. This is a treasure. It's going to help and save lives. So make sure you get this book. And I'm going to ask, we're going to begin to wrap up. I'm going to ask my wife to join us on stage. She's going to close us all in prayer. But do we have any questions? Anyone? Any questions? I'll give you a chance if you have a question. Yes.
Did you ever deal with feelings of self-loathing?
Yes, when your dad abandons you and your mother tells you she wished you were never born or she should have aborted you, of course you loathe yourself. And at times when I was loathing myself, I tried to commit suicide. I talk about that in the book. I'm very, very, very thankful.
You failed in that.
That I failed. I failed at something. That was the right thing to fail at. But it's really interesting. My grandmother, sometimes I would just reach out to her when I felt desperate, or if she was around, she just knew. I don't know how she knew, but she knew. But just be around people who are supportive of you. You know who loves you. You know who supports you. And the people that aren't supportive of you, cut them out of your life. I will do that in a heartbeat. On my social media, if I don't like what you said, block. I reserve the right to block you. This is my page. And I was telling somebody this. So rather than loathing myself like I used to, I now love myself, right? And so I believe it is a privilege. And let me be clear. To love yourself is not necessarily being an egomaniac or being stuck up, right? You have to love yourself, right? You become an egomaniac when you put other people down in order to pick yourself up. But if you love yourself and you love other people, that's fine. So I believe it to be a privilege to be on my social media, right? I only allow people that make me happy to be in my orbit. I can't control Pastor Deckard. I can't control you. And so I control my world. So if you're not positive and you don't make me feel good, like you are not allowed to be in my world. I don't wish you ill will, but for all intents and purposes, you don't exist to me. So I control that. And I've found when you don't allow people to throw stuff on you that you don't want, when you don't allow them to do that, you will be much happier. So, people are like, oh, she's arrogant. I'm not arrogant. I try to lift people up all the time. I speak to everybody. But if you step to me, I promise you're probably not going to like my response.
You're definitely a pit bull.
Rottweiler.
Rottweiler. Any more questions? We get ready to unwind and turn over to Pastor Second. Yes.
To touch on the suicide basis, how do you know to give up, trying to, take your life?
The last time I thought about suicide was when I was pregnant with my son. Thankfully, I was far enough along, and I talk about this in the book as well, but thankfully I was far enough along that I felt like if I killed myself that I would kill my son, and I didn't want to kill my son. I was far enough along to where maybe he might be born, he might have some issues, and I did not want for my son to have the issues that I had as a child of a parent who committed suicide. And so, now that I've gone through all this, I think whenever you are feeling desperate, you should reach out for help. Sometimes you don't know to help yourself. And the people that love you, you reach out to them and you let them help you. If you can't see the beauty in yourself, you then let them show you the beauty in yourself. Because when I'm saying these negative things about myself, and my grandmother says, sweetheart, God made you exactly who you're meant to be. And when my grandmother says, sweetheart, I'm so glad God gave you to me.
Yes.
Then I knew I was a gift, right? So I always reached out to my grandmother, because for sure, if I didn't have her to reach out to, I'd be dead. Not a doubt in my mind, by my own hand. So just reach out to somebody. I don't think you should ever give up. And if the people that love you, it is not good to be the person that's left, because they are going to blame themselves for you killing yourself. I don't care. I blamed myself for my dad killing himself, and had a lot of issues related to that. So when you kill yourself, you affect everybody.
Because that decision is final. And I'm living proof that if you find the strength from somewhere to keep going, the things will eventually work out. At 26, I wrote a letter to my daughter and said, I'm sorry that Dad won't be around to see you graduate from high school and see you get married, because I was experiencing a very difficult, traumatic experience, being falsely accused publicly of something that I knew I did not do, and it affected my life to the point where I thought that I couldn't ever survive and be successful. I didn't want to live and be a failure. So I wrote these 3 suicide notes, wrote these 3 notes. One to my daughter, one to my grandparents, and one public note saying, me killing myself is not a confession of guilt. I just can't take this anymore. And the gun was loaded, and that day a young preacher rang my doorbell. He's been helping with his first sermon. So in mind, I said, it's going to be my last good deed. I'm going to help this young man with his first sermon, and soon as we leave, I'm going to kill myself. And this was in VHS tape, so I put this tape on and we preached it and showed him how to organize a sermon. As I was watching me on TV, I clearly heard God say, you got so much to live for. And I'm going to use you for those who are going through. I'm going to let your life be an example of the power of God. And God said in a moment, the son, you've been too arrogant. Your ministry in life has been more about you than me. So I allow you to be publicly broken. So when I restore you, it'll be about me and not about you. So whatever God is doing in your life right now is not to defeat you, nor kill you, nor destroy you, but to give you the strength to let him be the sin of your life. Keep living, and you'll see his glory, I promise you. I'm living proof. If I would have pulled the trigger that day, the thousands of lives that may be to affect now, would never had a chance to experience whatever gift that God has put inside of me. Just keep living, my sister. Keep living, my daughter.